Hello and welcome back to another video, and thank you as always for watching. And yeah, isn't it so good to have Formula 1 back in our lives? It certainly is for me anyway, because I absolutely love it. And we had a pretty good race. We had a pretty good race in Bahrain. I enjoyed it. The safety car at the end obviously spiced things up, not a huge amount, but yeah, it certainly spiced things up, and things got even more spicy, as I'm sure you'll know, at the end of the race. Firstly, shout out to my viewing provider, Raw1210, for letting me use his Sky account to watch the race, as he has the last couple of seasons. Much appreciated. Check out his Twitch channel, Raw1210, if you want some awesome tunes. I certainly listen to them on a regular basis when I don't forget. But yeah, whenever I remember, it's awesome. So yeah, definitely check that out. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you do like the video. Not that you probably will, but I'll give it my best shot anyway. And today we're going to be just looking at the winners and losers from the Bahrain Grand Prix. I've got some incredibly technical notes here. So yeah, let's just dive straight into it. And before I start, actually, how amazing is it to see Ferrari at the front? Not only does the car look absolutely gorgeous, but also it's performing well as well. So the first one I've got on here, obviously, the good performers is Charles Leclerc. I mean, what an absolute masterclass from him. Managing to out-qualify Max Verstappen, even though it was only just, I think it was a tenth and a bit, wasn't it, that he out-qualified him. But what an absolute performance. And then we got that in the race as well. We actually got a little bit more Leclerc versus Verstappen, and boy did Leclerc hold his own in that. I mean, absolutely phenomenal performance from Leclerc, and he just really held his own. As I'm sure you remember in Austria a couple of years ago when they were fighting for the lead, and Verstappen got very boisterous, shall we call it, and yeah, cost Leclerc the win. But this time, you know, it wasn't phasing him at all. He was like, "Yeah, I'm still here. I'm in as fast a car as you, and I'm going to do the business." And that's exactly what he did. So hats off to Charles Leclerc for that. Who have we got second on the list then? We've got obviously K-Mag got second on the list. I mean, he wasn't even going to be in Formula 1 a month, or even a couple of weeks ago, I think it was. He wasn't even going to be in Formula 1. And to come back, I mean, he was never my favourite driver. He was always an entertaining driver, but he was never my actual favourite. But when he came back, I really wanted to see him do well. And boy, did he do well. I think he qualified 7th, didn't he? Had a little battle with Hamilton, and well, he had a great start. And yeah, just was really consistent through the race. I mean, I think he got up to 5th, didn't he, and then dropped back down to 7th when Russell got past him. But he held his own, and the pace looked really good with him as well. And obviously outpacing his teammate, which we'll get onto in a bit. But absolutely stunning performance from Kevin Magnussen. And there was a bit where, was it with Hamilton? I think it was with Hamilton, where they got a little bit juicy, and I was thinking, ooh. But no, he absolutely held his own for the first time being back, excuse me, in a Formula 1 car for so long, after barely even testing the car. Absolutely incredible performance. So yeah, well done K-Mag. Look forward to seeing more of that. Who have we got next? Bottas. Yes, Bottas. Wow. I mean, at one point he was in front of Russell, wasn't he? Obviously out-qualified Russell. That would have been a bitter pill to swallow for George. So yeah, just a really good and solid performance from Bottas. He didn't really put a foot wrong. Obviously the pace of the car looks quite good, especially in Bottas's hands. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see with him. But I really wish Bottas all the best, especially not being under the reins of Mercedes and being Lewis Hamilton's teammate, where it's not only you need to let Lewis win, but also your car's going to break every weekend. So yeah, hopefully we'll see more good stuff from Valtteri Bottas. But yeah, absolutely great performance from him. Who have we got next on the list? Ocon. Now, Ocon didn't actually finish very well, but the reason I'm saying this is because during the actual race where the car seemed to be functioning, even though it was a midfield car basically, wasn't it? He was consistently outperforming Fernando Alonso, and obviously we saw towards the end of the last season he was really struggling to keep up with Fernando. But certainly for the first race of the season, he's clearly got the pace over Fernando. Whether that just be Bahrain, or whether he can hold it on for the rest of the season. Because if you do remember, he started off really well last season. I kind of put that down to Alonso, being new to the team, blah 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 blah. But yeah, that was certainly the trend towards the start of last season. But Alonso pretty much annihilated him towards the end of the season. So it was good to see him back up there. I would have liked to have seen Alonso do better, to be honest. But you know, it is what it is. And yeah, well done to Ocon, even though it didn't finish very well. And yeah, the final, no, actually not the final one. We've got Zhou Guanyu, I think we've got to call him now, isn't it? Yeah, Guanyu Zhou is the old one, isn't it? Yeah, we've got to call him Zhou Guanyu now. Considering it was his debut, and he's apparently a pay driver, absolutely brilliant performance from him. He finished in the top 10, I think it was 9th. Obviously that was slightly due to the attrition of you know, but with Red Bulls going out. But still, he would have finished 11th without that. So, I mean, that's still a brilliant performance from him on his debut. So, yeah, congratulations to him. And we'll have to see, you know, whether he can get a little bit closer to Bottas in future. But let's not forget, obviously, well, no one's going to forget, Bottas was obviously Lewis Hamilton's teammate, and at times out-qualified and outpaced Lewis Hamilton. Very rarely, but it did happen on occasion. So, yeah, well done to him. And then, obviously, the super sub, Nico Hülkenberg. He didn't beat his teammate. But you know, it was kind of close. Did he out-qualify him? I think he out-qualified him, didn't he? Yeah. So it was super close with that, and obviously he had even less notice than Kevin Magnussen. So I mean, he was literally getting the car and go, wasn't he? So yeah, Nico Hülkenberg, he's always such a solid driver. We were all hoping. Well, you know, everyone was hoping he'd possibly finish on the podium, but it was never going to happen in that car. So yeah, still great job. Unfortunately, it's going to be his only drive by the looks of it this season, unless Sebastian Vettel continues to be unwell. But obviously, no one's going to wish that for someone. So I think it will be the last time we see him this year. Well, possibly not. You know, someone could get COVID next week and it'll be in the seat. So yeah, good one from Hulkenberg. We're not covering all the drivers in this, to be honest, but most of them. So yeah. Anyway, the bad ones. Who are the bad ones? Right, we're just going to start off with the two teams that were obviously bad, and then we'll start with Red Bull. Now, Red Bull were expecting to be the fastest team, quite clearly, from what they said. They were silently confident that they would be or quietly confident that they would be the fastest team. Now, that didn't turn out to be the case quite, because Ferrari, certainly in the hands of Charles Leclerc, were at least as quick, if not quicker, than the Red Bull. And then, obviously, towards the end of the race, they had their issues. Not only Verstappen, but both cars. Now, obviously, it looked kind of on TV like Perez spun the car, but actually, he had a similar issue to Verstappen. It was some sort of locking. So it wasn't actually Perez's fault. So it was both mechanical errors from the Red Bull department. And a lot of people are saying that it might be down to this new fuel. I think it's called E10 or something, where there's I think there's 10% ethanol in it or something like that. Something like that. Some people will know more technically than me, but it's a different fuel to what it was last year, but it's the same engine. So that seems to be, you know, from what people are saying, seems to be the issue there. So we'll have to wait and see if they get on top of that. But I mean, it must be agonising for them because they got so close to the end of the race, and I think they were going to finish what was it? I think it was second and fourth, wasn't it? They were on for. Obviously, when Verstappen went out, Perez was on for a podium. But yeah, both of them ended up going out. Real shame, and yeah, it's not got Honda badge on it anymore. So yeah, even though it is a Honda, but yeah, I'm not blaming Honda. Anyway, and then we get on to obviously the McLaren. Now, I made a video. Probably no one's watched it, but yeah, saying that it's going to be between McLaren and Ferrari this year. Now, I've got the Ferrari bit right. The McLaren bit I got very wrong. I think everyone else did as well after that Barcelona test. McLaren looked like they were in an incredibly strong position. So yeah, but the brake issues they're having, I think their brakes just get hot when they touch them, don't they? So not being able to brake in a Formula 1 car is probably not ideal. So yeah, Norris really struggled. Obviously, Daniel Ricciardo as well. I think he only jumped in the car for FP1, didn't he? Because he had COVID. So yeah, I was never expecting a huge amount from Daniel Ricciardo. But yeah, I thought the McLarens, because they obviously made that adjustment, didn't they? There's pictures online. It looks really weird, the adjustment they made. It looks like it was yeah, it just looks weird. But yeah, that clearly didn't work, and the car was absolutely awful, both in qualifying and in the race. So they have a lot of work to do. I think, hopefully, from what we saw in Barcelona, if they get on top of their braking issues, they will have a good car. But it's ifs and buts with that, and they need to get on top of the braking issues before they can find out if that is the case. So yeah, I hope McLaren improve, because I like McLaren. I like both their drivers. And, yeah, I've always liked McLaren. So yeah, next one, Alonso. Yeah, I think I briefly touched on Alonso earlier in the video, so we won't go too much. But yeah, I was expecting Alonso to perform a lot better than he did, and obviously he qualified well, but just did not seem to have any race pace at all. He was complaining about the tyres. I think he was one of the first to pit, and just didn't seem to have any pace in the race. So whether there was an issue with the car, we've not heard anything about there being an issue with the car. So yeah, he just seemed to lack pace in the race. So you know, hopefully he can get on top of that and improve for the next one. But we'll have to wait and see. Who else have we got? Latifi. Like, these last two are a little bit like, they haven't been bad, but obviously Latifi has got a new teammate, Albon, coming into the team, and he was clearly outpaced by Albon, quite clearly. I mean, the Williams doesn't seem to be, it's probably the slowest car by the looks of it this year. That's unfortunate that their rivals have made such gains into the midfield, and Williams have kind of stuck where they were. Stuck where they were last year, but obviously with everyone else moving forward so much, that means that they're moving back. So yeah, interesting for Williams, but overall I suppose it's an alright debut for Albon. But Latifi just seemed to be on his normal, against George Russell pace, a lot slower basically. So yeah, and then finally, and it really pains me to say this, I'm going to go with Schumacher, because obviously Bottas coming into the team, what am I on about? Sorry, what am I on about? K-Mag coming into the team. I do apologise, I had a little bit of a brain fart there. Do forgive me. With K-Mag coming into the team, and you'd say Mick Schumacher has experience. Yes, he does, but he's not actually really raced anyone, has he? He's miles faster than Mazepin last year, and miles slower than anyone else. So all he's really been doing is trundling around in a Formula 1 car for the last season. So didn't really get much racing experience, but certainly from the pace, Magnussen looked a lot quicker. Obviously out-qualified him, and you know, he was just generally quicker in the race. So there's a lot of improvement for Mick Schumacher, but hopefully this season, being a little bit more in the mix, will provide him with a little bit more experience. Because it's one thing, I don't know if anyone else races online, it's one thing being able to go quick round a lap. It's a completely other thing trying to go quick for a race and racing against people. So obviously I was never good at that either. But yeah, so shame for Mick Schumacher. Obviously I haven't really talked about the Mercedes, but yeah, we'll just have a little one about Mercedes. So pretty much where we expected it. Well, from what they were saying, it's pretty much where we were expecting. Obviously Hamilton managing to get the podium at the end with Red Bulls going out, and I thought Hamilton actually did really well. Russell had a bit of a tricky start, obviously with qualifying 9th, but you know, he finished behind Hamilton in the end, and towards the end of the race he was also matching the pace of Hamilton. So you know, it bodes well for the rest of the season. They're just going to hope that they can get on top of the issues that they're having with the car. You know, it's like the bounciest car ever by the looks of it. So hopefully they can get on top of that, and we can have a three-way fight for the title between the teams. But overall, really happy with the race. I thought it was exciting, and you know, hopefully we can get some more. So yeah, we've got another race next week. I can't wait for that, and I'll probably do a video on that as well. But yeah, this one's been a bit of a ramble for me, to be honest. I normally ramble for 5 minutes, but this one's been a long one. But yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, like I said, please do give it a like, and thank you as ever for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks, bye bye.